Going back on the East, let's go ahead and talk about the Milwaukee Bucks.
Ooh.
Such an up and down season. They started off the year, like, I believe, if I remember correctly, they weren't even in the playoffs. They started out horrendously, bro.
Were they like 0-10 to start the year? Or 1-10?
Yeah. And then,
It was bad.
That feels like forever ago.
Yeah, it does. They were horrendous. And now, since then, so many things have changed. Chris Middleton's not on the roster anymore. Kyle Kuzma is starting for them these days. And now, at the end of the season, we don't know what's happening with Damian Lillard. I don't know how to grade this.
I do. Can I be a hater real quick?
Go ahead.
F.
Whew. Yeah.
F. You know why? Listen, Bucks fans, turn away. Turn it off right now. Just skip to the next section. You're not going to like what I got to say. And I understand why you won't. I'm not even saying you should like what I got to say. But I got to say it. I know we've done this for years. We've done the whole, will Giannis request a trade? Will this lead to them blowing it up? Yada, yada. And most of the time, it's been undeserved. It's been disrespectful to the Bucks fans.
Tell y'all 2 weeks ago.
It's been disrespectful to Bucks fans and Bucks organization that did nothing but make good moves around Giannis and earn his loyalty over the years. They went out, they traded for Chris Middleton, they nurtured him into being a star, they made good trades around the margins, got other good role players, eventually got him Drew Holiday, put him in a spot where he could win a championship as the best player. They did right by him. They have since done not terrible by him, but they've gotten very unlucky to the point now where none of that shit matters to me. I look at this roster and I see zero path to them returning to relevancy in the next 3 or 4 years. And I don't want to do this because Giannis has told us time in, time out he doesn't want to leave. Eventually that shit might change if it gets dire enough. And I think this year has put them on a path that it will get that dire. For long-term reasons alone, I have to go F because I think his future on this team is in jeopardy.
Yeah, and shit, bro.
And I'm sorry, Bucks fans. I don't want it to be this way, but I'm kind of scared for you.
If I'm looking at the product that I see on this team as well on the court, it's just not inspiring whatsoever.
Oh, you went F2?
Like, why am I seeing...
Hey, you gotta tell me twice. I
Why is Andre Jackson like the founding savior of this team? And people were talking about how he's like a point of attack god and shit like that. And now it's in March and April, he's getting no minutes now. He's riding the fuck out of that bench. And now I just see them scrapping for anything possible, bro. Why do I see over involvement of Taurean Prince on this roster? There's just so much on this team that just looks so piss poor. And I agree, if I was to have a bold prediction for this offseason, I think like someone like Giannis is going to demand a trade, bro.
And they could run it back and they continue to be mid for a few years. Maybe he'll stay. Let me rephrase that then. I don't know if he'll request trade because maybe he's the type of guy that wants to just keep living there because he likes it. You see that a lot with players that are European players or so on that aren't from America. They settle in one city. They don't want to leave. You see that a lot. Jokic doesn't want to leave. Luka didn't want to leave. Giannis doesn't want to leave. You know, you make your home here. So it's understandable if he wants to stay. But I think they're in a position where he should want to leave. Whether or not that comes to pass, if it doesn't, that means they're going to be mid forever. So that's also ass. That's also not a good outcome.
Giannis is also one of them guys who maybe he just be fronting, but he has hopped on the most random NBA podcast before and also made so many bold statements and like, yo, his number one focus is just to fucking win. He doesn't care about staying in the Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously be nice, but he's also stated that he does not care about staying in one city.
I think he's doing that to put a little pressure.
Maybe he's just doing that to put pressure on their back. But honestly, if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks and seeing they just make bad decisions consistently, bro. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but they don't draft well whatsoever. Like, since the Giannis era, they have nobody sticking by their side, bro.
I've noticed.
Consistent bust and trash after like the Thon Makers, the Jabari Parkers of the world, the fucking DJ Wilsons of the world. But I can go on and on and on. Like, nothing, they don't do anything right. And on top of that, too, they have bad luck. And then they went ahead and doubled up and buried their grave when it comes to signing someone like Doc Rivers.
Yeah, and see, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. We can have a conversation again. They have made bad decisions. They're fucking horrible at drafting. That much is clear. I still don't blame anybody for this situation quite so easily. Like, some teams, Calvin Booth, you let KCP walk. The owners are cheap. You guys are to blame. You could have kept him very feasibly, and you would have had to pay a tax bill. I understand the implications of the second apron. You could have dealt with that and had a much better chance of winning a championship this year. I don't feel like any one move should be the blame for this. They just got really unlucky. They got Damian Lillard. It was a good trade in the moment. We all bought in on the vision. We all assumed Giannis could morph his game because he's that good and play as a role man, be complimentary to Dame. Hasn't worked out. Their chemistry has never been good. Even when they've had better stretches, it hasn't been elite like we thought. Unlucky. Also unlucky, Chris Middleton's body completely gave out 3 weeks after they made that trade. He had to get double ankle surgery last year. Wasn't healthy this year. They move him for Kyle Kuzma, which I think that trade wasn't good, but I understand Bucks fans sold themselves on just getting something for Chris because he's currently giving you nothing, was unreliable. I get it. Don't think it was a good choice of player to pursue, but I understand you had to get out of the Chris Middleton business. All these things, and obviously Giannis' injuries before the last 2 playoff runs, and now Dame's blood clot that ruins this playoff run potentially. Unlucky streak after unlucky streak after unlucky streak. Maybe you don't need to say, John Horst, you're the devil, you've ruined this team. But regardless, the team is ruined, and it's not your fault, but shit happens, and some people get unlucky, and suddenly the championship window is closed. That's all it is for them, is pure bad luck, but nevertheless, that bad luck has its ramifications.
Y'all said it all, man. Y'all said it all. It's a bad season.
And also, you chose to employ Kevin Porter Jr., so maybe you deserve this. Maybe that was the bad luck. You brought it upon yourself.
Are deep fried, brother. Deep fried. The worst way. You know, yesterday I had a chimichanga for the first time.
Does it remind you of the Bucks?
Yeah, bro.
How'd it go?
It was kind of sweet.
Wait, where'd you get it?
Somewhere in the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
It was near my mom's crib.
Okay. It was fire.
It was very interesting. I'm never eating it again, but very interesting.
All right. Nice.
What do you want this team to do out of this? Like, I guess let's have the full Bucks convo. Like, let's say this season plays out. Let's say Dame doesn't come back for the playoff run. There's a chance he might, because we were actually informed after the last episode by some people in the comments that knew a little bit about deep vein thrombosis.
Doctors in the chat.
Yeah, facts. I felt like they knew what they were talking about. The reason he's not ruled out in the same way Wemby is because Wemby's was in his shoulder, which is closer to your heart, and you move that a lot, and you get scar tissue in your shoulder, so that kind of like inflames the blood clot and makes it hard to recover from, plus taking blood thinners you can't play on. Apparently there's less concern about that because obviously the calf is far away from your heart. So the reason that Dame is out is mostly because of the blood thinners. You can't play on that. So the reason that they have the window open is because maybe he goes through that process fast enough, and post blood thinners, if it clears out, he can come back, either start the playoffs or midway through the playoffs, whatever it may be. That window's open. Let's say he doesn't come back though. Let's say he's out for the whole year and they lose in the first round again because they just don't have the firepower. What do you do this summer? You traded AJ Johnson already. You already got rid of your one promising young piece that maybe isn't even that promising, but it's something.
I mean, he's showing something.
Yeah, exactly. So you gave him away for fucking nothing as a throw-in. What do you do? Like, do you keep Kuzma around? Sure, I guess. You already have Brook Lopez is old that fans kind of want to get rid of. What are you getting for him?
Nothing. What you do is you have to go the Golden State Warriors route, and you have to hope that next year, in the middle of the season, some star gets.
But they're over the apron, aren't they?
Some star gets upset.
This Chris Middleton trade put them under, I believe.
Under the second apron, okay.
Yeah, but you have to figure out.
So then the first apron.
Yeah, you have to figure out a way to just wait it out and hope that somebody else becomes available, and then try it and run back Giannis plus star and see how that works. See if you can add it to, if it makes sense. See if you can add it to Dame as well. But I doubt you're going to be able to make that work. But that's kind of it.
So basically, just pray.
Yeah, because you're not, because you mentioned like do they get proactive and trade Giannis? Small market teams,
they're not going to want to.
They're not.
He's a legend.
Exactly. If Giannis wants to stay there for the rest of his career, they will have him. They're not going to do anything. So if that's the case, everybody else is on the table to be traded. I don't think that like your best assets to trade are Kuzma, Dame, Brook Lopez.
You just named 2 assets and Dame. So do you trade Dame? Is that going to be the only option?
But if that's the case, what are you getting for Dame at this age? And like, is the package worth it to move off of him and try and reset and do everything else, or would it be better to just ride out with Giannis and Dame for a third year and see how that goes? Because once again, and we can't skip over this as like, they have not gone into a playoff healthy together.
Yeah.
With the whole idea is that like when they first got together, if we get to the playoffs, we will have the best player in the conference, and we're going to have Dame, a proven playoff performer. You have not had that for 2 years now. Can you go into a third year and hope that you can get to April with both of them there and see if that potential finally works out?
Julius Randle, Rob Dillingham, Shannon Jr., and a pick for Dame. Do they say yes? Julius Randle will be expiring. Maybe you can flip him to a third team, or you have to play him where you get 2 young players.
Could I interest you in? No. I'm not gonna say it. We good. But
the Timberwolves will probably want Dame. What did the Magic give you for Dame? You want Anthony Black, Jet Howard, and a couple picks?
You can have every guard outside of Jalen Suggs.
No, so maybe they'll give up. They have a lot of centers. So maybe they give up Wendell Carter Jr. Maybe that's of
These
interest.
are bleak conversations, man, that we're having about the Bucks. Sounds like there's no real
Dame
way
is-
out of
Dame
this
is-
hellfire that they're
Dame
facing.
is mid-30s, coming off of this, blood clot stuff. I don't know how big the package is. We're having those conversations about KD. And like when he gets traded, it's like, how big is the package going to be for Kevin Durant in the offseason when he's about to turn, 38, 39? This is the same thing for Dame. Do I want to give up a massive haul for not like a tiny, but like one of the smaller guards in the league?
You want CJ McCollum and DeJounte Murray?
Okay, so the only team that should be interested.
Lose my number. Lose my number.
Hey, low key, I mean, if DeJounte didn't tear his fucking Achilles and he was back, I get that's not. I mean, I don't want DeJounte and Giannis.
Why would I? But again, why would I? I'm gonna trade this old man who.
You get 2 good players instead of 1. I don't know.
Now I'm trading for a guy coming off of a ruptured Achilles. No, I'm not gonna do
And
that.
CJ McCollum, who's also getting up there in age.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I don't know where the teams would want him, man.
The only other team that could like want somebody like Dame Lillard that I can envision is the Houston Rockets.
Kevin
But-
Durant for Damian Lillard. Everybody wins. Damian Lillard, Devin Booker goes back to having a point guard next to him, which is very important. Kevin Durant and Giannis, that's something.
Kevin Durant and Giannis is a disgusting duo,
That's
and like
huge.
in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Like they're, I don't know, I don't even know how to compute that. I don't even know how realistic it is.
Probably not, but
Mind you. Now I can see that happening only because, again, Matt Ishbia, wild boy. But Dame Booker Beal.
That's like disgusting.
Dame
You
Booker
lose
Beal.
their second best
Bradley
defender,
Beal
bro.
is not
Or their
leaving.
best
He
defender.
said,
Yeah.
"I'm staying here.
Yeah.
I'm not
I'm just
going anywhere
talking.
else."
None of this is realistic. I don't know. I doubt they actually want to trade Dame, but we don't have the answers of what's going to happen. But I have a feeling that it won't be good. So while I'm not,
With Nick Richards. at the center.
oh Jesus, man,
That's even worse. I wouldn't even want to do that. Probably.
Again, I take no joy in being the bad guy to Bucks fans and telling you I think you might lose your stars or so forth.
I will. Your star is going to request a trade because the one thing that you left out and you talked about it. He said, "I want to stay in Milwaukee, comma, but if I have to go somewhere else to win a chip, I will." And that's a major part of what that statement is. And so you can look at it as posturing, but I do think that is real from Giannis. And I do think that, like, we've heard rumblings before. And the reason why they went out and got Drew Holiday, the reason why they went out and got Dame is because he was talking like this 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, but does Giannis have the patience and also the
No, he doesn't have the patience.
awareness to be like, holy fuck, like I haven't even given this team and situation a chance. Like I haven't given him a chance. Dame hasn't given him a chance. Chris Middleton, rest in peace, hasn't given him a chance.
He's
so
alive.
It's like, is it fair for someone like Giannis to be irrational to that level?
Yes, it is.
I don't think so.
It is fair because if the Bucks went and made some crazy move, like that's their thing. I don't think it would be crazy for Giannis to be in his prime, peak of his powers, playing as great as he is, to take extra control of his career at this point and say I have like 3 to 4 years of tip top shape left. I need to go somewhere where I can absolutely win. I'm not looking at that and saying, "Oh, he did the team wrong." Mm-hmm. You got him a chip.
True.
You're fine.
Let's take the moment now. We've done 5 teams in the first 49 minutes.
Real quick. The one thing that they should do 100% is fire Doc Rivers. He needs to go.
You can't do that.
That's
You can't-
one
you
thing.
can't do that.
That's one step in the right direction.
You can't have two coaches that you're paying not to coach.
And he's not great. The issues are so roster based too that I can't even really tell how good he's been this year. Like obviously Bucks
not
fans
helping.
have specifics too. Know what he's saving, the issues they have. So I don't even know if that does anything for you outside of wasting money.
Get the fuck.
Yeah, it's a waste.
I mean, it's into a rebuild for sure. But if
Yeah.
they're still trying to keep the same type of core around, I don't even know if that does shit for you.
Yeah.